Hello and welcome everybody to today's Thursday Live. I am Denise Armenio, certified emotion code, body code practitioner, genius biofeedback practitioner, and I have Claire McIntyre with me here helping answer your questions in the chat. So hopefully everybody is surviving all the holiday rush to get everything done, and you're finding some time to relax. So that is great. Today I do have a volunteer. I have Rosalie. So welcome, Rosalie, and thank you for volunteering. I'm just going to share my screen here, guys. So okay, so here we are, and oopsies, 1 second. Okay, so today we're going to work on basic training, and then also Rosalie, what would you like to work with today? What would be the issues that we could help you with?
Well, due to recent information as I uncover the mysteries of my health challenges that have been ongoing, especially since March, a lot of upheaval in my world. I recently found out that I do have a couple of different Lyme disease. This is someone from within Insight Genius had done a scan on me and had determined that I have a couple of Lyme disease issues, and then I have hypothyroidism since childbirth. My daughter's now 29, and I have a low-grade infection running through my system. I do believe I have been impacted by the whole COVID situation through my interactions with people over the months and years. That may very well have had a negative impact on my body. I can honestly say, Denise, that my world has been totally turned upside down to the point where my daughter and my son-in-law jumped on a plane and came to get me in Nova Scotia, drove my car back to Ontario, and here I am having all kinds of diagnostic testing done. I'm not someone that has a lot of money to throw around, and I've been displaced by income level because I had a B&B, and with COVID, Nova Scotia being a top destination place was majorly impacted. So yeah, so I want my life back, and I want to get to the root cause here. What's going on? Let's just see what you can find out, if you can find anything out, because I'm still going down the rabbit hole. I am a journalist background way back, so I like to dig in and I like to get to the bottom of things. But this has been a real very interesting. Actually, I will just add this one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in my property, I sold my other property, and I'm still in the midst of rebuilding my business, the B&B, in a different form. And so through that process, I have a shallow well. I'm in farm country, which is gorgeous. Okay, it's like mountain views and beautiful, beautiful. But having it been a shallow well in the house, having been there, that I had demolished, and it was loaded with raccoons and wildcats everywhere. And I have to wonder, just in my recent, like, could it be that? Because I didn't actually, I've been boiling the water, but I hadn't, I've got a reverse osmosis system, but I hadn't quite got to the point where I had installed that system. I'd been using distilled water, making distilled water, but not consistently on a daily basis.
Mhm.
So I just have to wonder, in light of the fact that it's been brought to my attention that I have a low-grade infection running through my body, I cannot live without the antiparasitics, whether they be natural or the RX ones. I cannot. I tried doing it for the last 3 days. Oh my gosh, that put me in a heap of trouble and brought me back. So there, that's it.
Okay. Let's get your birthday, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions when we get to the user records part. Okay. So I spelled your name correctly, your legal name, Rosalie Jones.
RosalieJones. Yes,
Okay. And your birthday?
is September 24th, 1964. And I don't identify as anything other than a female.
Okay, great. Let me add your birthday here. The gender here is strictly only for what graphics we see. So whether you see female parts or male parts. Other than that,
Perfect.
you can use whatever pronoun you want.
Oh, good stuff.
Or not use a pronoun. I don't care. Okay, so you enter all the information here, your legal name, birth date, gender. You have to select something. So we did select the female, and then we can just hit continue with new analysis. Okay, so this is going to bring up the part where we, identify some wellness markers. Now, you did tell me, and I have written down all these different things: Lyme, hypothyroidism, low grade infection. But what I want to know is what your symptoms are. What are you like? What are you feeling? What are you experiencing like right now? And if you can rate it, is it showing up as pain, physical pain, um, emotional?
It's definitely pain because of the whatever it has infested my body, parasites off the charts, self-replicating. It's like it's Groundhog Day every day. I feel
Okay,
as if I'm gaining ground and then boom, I'm back.
we'll
And yeah,
we'll get to that. I mean, as you know, as a genius practitioner, we're not going to diagnose anything. We're
no,
only
no, no.
looking at
Yeah.
energetics, right? So I appreciate all those other things. What I'm concerned about is what you feel. Where is your pain? What is it? Um, because I find working with the symptoms itself um is becomes very helpful. It also allows you to see if there's an improvement. So
Okay, so I would say the most troublesome spots are my head, and then my left foot has been consistent. Troubles with they kind of move from my head all the way down my back, and they're massive, and then they wrap around my feet, and I actually have physical evidence of harm,
okay.
scarring, biting, this and that. Yeah. Mhm.
So right now, your head on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being severe, how would you rate your head?
Well, because I stepped in and mitigated some of this attack yesterday with fenbenzidol, I'm going to say I'm probably about a 5 today compared to a
Okay.
10 out of 10 yesterday.
Okay. And is it like a sharp pain? What type of pain is it?
Yesterday was a in my ear, on my the crown, just feeling like there's a cage around my skull, like a pressing down. There's a lot of activity, and I've been hard at this. I have tried everything you can imagine to hit this thing, which is why I'm back to the well thing. Was it a contaminated well? That is the culprit, along with the other wonky things that are going on since the COVID thing, right?
Okay. Left foot right now. Has a scale of 0 to 10?
It's there's some activity, but I can tell you, Denise, that the most activity happens all the time, consistently in the night. That's when it really, really ramps up. It's busy now. There's a lot of activity going on.
So
And
0 out of 10.
I'm going to say, well, right in the middle again, 5.
I'm just trying to move you along just a little
Yep.
bit because
Yep.
just to get right to these points so we have
Totally.
time to work on it all.
Totally.
Is there anything else that where any place else you're experiencing pain, bloating, any type of physical type pain right now at all, other than these two places?
I'm going to say digestive issues have been more of a problem in the last couple of days. In particular, yesterday was off the charts. But like I said, by kicking in with the fenbenzidol, that seemed to rectify a lot of what was going on. But I had a lot of abdominal discomfort, and breathing even in that area was a challenge, almost like a herniated uh, reaction. Um, you know,
And
inflammation.
are you feeling those digestive issues right now?
Somewhat. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna put it right down the middle again. So about a 5.
Okay. And anything emotional?
I'm good. I mean, uh, everybody's thrown for a loop. My family loves me very much, and friends, and they're all concerned. I'm just, just trying to put my life back together and be a useful member of society, which I am to a certain degree, but I have my limitations, and it's rocked my world. I've not lived in my home since late September, which is crazy, crazy. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to fill out any of these. I guess we could put headaches, but I'm not really going to fill out any of these things. I've put your information up here. Again, this information is not part of the scan. This is just for me and to have it as record. So if we go back, we can see how you were feeling today. This is also, I'm asking you these questions specifically so that you can be mindful of where you put, everything. And hopefully at the end of this demo, those numbers will be lowered. So with any hope, luck. Okay, so I'm just going to hit begin here. Okay, so now we're at the point where we want to take your voice analysis. So I'll count you down. I'll say 3, 2, 1, begin. And at that point, I want you to say your full name and then repeat the vowels A, E, I, O, U. You'll have to say it a couple of times until this 15-second counter gets to 0. You ready?
Mhm.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Rosalie Jones, Aeiou. Rosalie Jones, Aeiou. Aeiou. Rosalie Jones.
Okay, great. So now that you've recorded that, we can look down at the bottom left. It says voice harmonics. And I recommend that you always press this either for yourself when you're working on a scan or someone else. It is beneficial to listen to it. You can hear how the genius has actually taken your spoken word and turned it into a frequency. And these frequencies do have healing benefits to it. And much like a homeopathic where like cancels out like. So I'm going to play this back for you right now. Okay, so now the next thing is we can just hit next. I just want to point out if anybody here has been working with the Genius and or interested to know about Quanta capsules, if your client or family member should have a Quanta capsule and they have uploaded their picture and their voice, before you take any of these recordings, this is where you would click up top when it says import client voice picture. I would then put in, if it's already there, it would like prompt me to say that they've already left, their voice information. And then we would press it and it would automatically be downloaded and it would automatically populate. So just in case anybody was wondering about that. So now I'm just going to hit next. And at the same time, oh, sorry, okay. So now that we're on where it says image analysis, since I've just taken Rosalie's picture and I've added it to my photos, I can now say, click on the avatar and hit existing photo and click on it. And here we are. And I'm just going to.
What a horrible picture, Denise. You
Oh,
should have warned
not a
me.
problem at all. Oh, actually, I just want to crop out these letters over here. It's nice that we have the ability to do this. We didn't have that ability there for a while. So, okay, here is your picture. And I am now going to hit begin analysis. And we're going to hit continue. Okay, so now the Genius is asking for an energetic affirmation. I always like to use this feature. It is optional. What it does is you can type in an affirmation into the Genius, and it translates that affirmation into a frequency, and that frequency is then overlaid every time you run frequencies within this specific session. So I'm just going to put in the one I like to use. All energies are transmuted into the frequency of pure, whoops, love. And so it is. Okay. And then you just hit OK. So now from here, we're going to hit begin analysis. Now, when anybody who is using this, who may have the trial version or who just purchased the Genius Basic version, if you did not purchase any libraries and you have not created any libraries, you will not have this last banner on the bottom that says custom libraries. It doesn't mean you can't have it. It just means that you haven't purchased and you haven't or created any libraries. And the only thing that you will be seeing are the 3 categories: body, biofield, and mind. Once the analysis is done here, these 3 categories will be ordered in the order the Genius feels is the priority of where the most work needs to be done. So I'm just going to hit begin analysis. Okay, so mind is showing up for you, then body, then biofield, and custom libraries is always going to be on the bottom. I just want to touch base quickly on the numbers and the colors here so everybody can understand what we're looking at. The Genius uses a numerical value system that range goes from 0 to 777. 0 to 200 is represented by the color blue. And it is observed to be chronic energetic disturbances. And meaning you've had these items that are showing as blue or between 0 and 200 have been out of balance for a longer period of time. It can be referred to as stagnant energy. It can also be referred to as under energy. And often items that are in this range are causing some kind of crisis within your body. The next range goes from 201 to 450, and that is represented by the color green. From there, we go to 451 to 600. That's represented by the color yellow. And lastly, 601 to 777 is represented by the color red. Items in this range are observed to be acute energetic disturbances, meaning they're out of balance right now. They have not been out of balance for a long period of time, like the blues are. The reds are out of balance in the present. It could also be referred to as heat or inflammation, even over energy. And usually these items that are in red are currently causing some kind of stress on the body. Sometimes these reds can be off if you're absorbing frequencies from family members or coworkers that you're in proximity with, if you're in tight spaces like a train or subway, bus, airport, concerts, bars, things of that nature, it's easily to pick up people's energy. So sometimes they get stuck and you need to help them pass through. So they are not a diagnosis. Again, the genius is not diagnostic in the allopathic sense. It is just telling us where there are energetic disturbances. And the reds and the blues are not an indicator of too little or too much. It's just an indicator of being out of balance or not in harmony, and either for a long period of time or currently in this present moment. Okay. If you look at all the way on the left hand side, you'll see little arrows. Those are just there to tell you that there's more information and you can go a little bit deeper. You will see this arrow next to all the items except for the aura. And we're going to go there in a minute because you go to the aura to get your aura picture. And then the only other exception to, or not exception, meridians has the arrow, but it goes 2 layers deep. So for the meridians, if I were to click on the line, it's now giving me all the different meridians, but you can see the arrow next to it again. That is because if you click on either of these meridians, you will then see all the points for each meridian. So the meridians is the only one that goes 2 levels deep. So now I'm just going to go to the aura so we can collect your aura picture. Okay, I'm just gonna up top, you see where it says hide avatar. I can click on that and that allows me to see a little bit more information because the avatar isn't there. What we are looking for is bright, vibrant colors here in the aura. If it's muddy or dirty, it's usually a good indication of stagnant energy or some form of interference or negative energy. The colors that we see are the 7 colors of the chakra. Now you're going to see a full range of all those colors. You want the colors to be bright, almost neon-like. I would describe it as the brighter the colors, it's going to represent the more positive attributes of each of those chakras. And as you get a little bit darker, it might be taking on more of the negative qualities of that chakra color. The paler the color would be kind of like weak or not that much energy. You may be a little bit fatigued when that happens. So the next thing we want to look at here is we can switch to the old version of the aura, which is really nice because it gives us some different information. The one thing I always tell people is you really want to see the color going to all 4 corners. That's going to mean that you're grounded and in your body. There is a lot more information that you can pull from here, but not everybody's going to see it. And it is really something that comes with the more you use the genius. Some people with just their different gifts are going to be able to read and pick out more information. And that's just going to vary from person to person. The energy is, because this is mirrored, is going to move from right to left. So we also are going to look for bright, vibrant colors. Again, it's the same colors that we're looking for. To be one color would be ideal, but we're not usually always seeing it like that. And anything that's like gray or dark, again, is usually more evidencing of like a negative energy. So even if we switched back, if you like around the edges here, they're more blurry. But we'll see how this pan, we'll see how it changes as we go through working with some frequencies. So this color in here is probably not as healthy as a color, but we're getting further out. So the center is going to be sort of closer in your body. And okay, so what I like to work on first is to make sure that we are taking care of your foundation, making sure that you're getting your nutrients, protecting your biofield, because we need your biofield healthy in order to guard you from other energies that may be coming in. So I have a library that I specifically like to use. If you don't have the library, you could I would recommend adding all the items from the biofield, and then from body, add vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. I am going to go to the custom libraries. And just hit begin here. Okay, and if there's like a little pull down in the center that brings us to the search. And I'm just going to click on the magnifying glass, and the library I am working with is from the bioterrain. It does say begin here, and it says vessel priming. I'm just going to select that line and drag it to the bottom, and it adds all items to the main hold tray. For those of you who are here and have bioterrain, you'll see the number one up a little bit. I did add 1 or 2 items to that. So when you back out and log back in, you should get that update as well. Anyway, so now that those items are in the main hold tray, I'm just going to click on the play button that's at the right and hit begin. And I'm going to move the timer toggle, which is right at the top, to 1 minute. And I'm going to select all, and we can run all of these. I'm not going to scroll through all of them right now. There are 165 in here, but let's hit play for 1 minute and see how we do. Okay, so you had an average percent rectification of 38, which is a good rectification. Anything really above 20% is good. You will get a little pop-up that says you did excellent if it's above 40%. And I do like to look for average percent rectifications above 40%. Sometimes it's not always possible, but I do like to hopefully see that before I move on. The next thing I like to look at is the percentage of harmony, alignment, and energy flow. Now, those 3 the average of those three is obviously giving you this average percent rectification, but I don't like to see a range of more than 20% on those. I just don't, me personally, in my observations, it's just an indication that it may not be as stable. So an energy that comes through, even if we work and you had even, let's say, a 65% rectification, if that was more than 20%, it could get thrown out of balance easier. So when you hear me talking about that, or if I ran it again because the percent rectification was high, that's why I would do that. Now, because it is below 38, I want to just work with the highs and the lows here. So I'm going to deselect the all. So once I pressed on it, you can see that all of these freed up here. And I'm just going to click on the lows and the highs, and I'm going to move the timer to 0 so I can run the timer for less than a minute. Okay, great. So the average percent rectification is about 49%. And the harmony, alignment, and energy flow goes from 34 to 58. So that is slightly greater than that 20%. This is a demo, so it's not that far over. I'm not going to redo this again. I will rescan it though. And I'm just going to select the lows and run those for some seconds. Okay, so now you see you have a 56% rectification here for the lows. That's really great. And you can see it goes from 50% to 60%. So that's within that 20%. There's only a 20% range in there. So I'm really happy with that. So now we can back out of here. And I'm just going to empty the main hold tray. And we're going to go to the click on the system overview, which brings us to the general overview. Now I find the general overview really important to work with. What the Genius does when you get into the general overview, it takes all the items on this main page and it takes it out of like the categories and it puts all line items in numerical order. When you have custom libraries, it also takes all the line items from those custom libraries and adds it to that order. So it really is a good way to look at everything and see where some of your root causes may be. Now, again, the reds are red because they're out of balance right now in the present, and the blues are going to be more chronic. So I do like to work with both of them, but the blues are probably going to be the things that are more of the underlying causes. And in energy healing work, what I've always found is anything can cause anything. So even if we know that we have Lyme or we have, hyperthyroidism, the potential root cause could be from something completely unrelated. And since you don't want to overlook any of those, I find the general overview really important to work with. So I am going to just add, if you see to the left of the main hold tray and also on the quick zap, there's like a crosshair or a plus. That will bring up and give you the ability to bulk drag items. So if I hit red items, it would bring all the red items to the main hold tray, or yellow, green, blue. I have too many because I have too many libraries to go through this. I probably have like 80,000 line items, and that's also why there's so many red. We only have 777 slots. So each of those line items have to fit someplace. So don't get upset, by seeing a lot of 777s or reds. It's just they need to fall in someplace. I am going to add the top 50 and the bottom 50. And that will bring me 100 give me 100 items in the tray. We can just click up at top. It says 0 to 100. When I click on that, it will reverse the view. So now it will let me see what's at the bottom. So again, there are some pure connection from physical body to etheric body. That has to do with your auric field. A couple of things here looking at your auric field, high level energetic connection from crown to mental body. We want to stimulate clarity of thought and mental function is showing up. Solar flare could be a possible stress. And it's interesting that shows up. There have been very big solar flares coming up. So it could be that those do affect you. So, be mindful of that. I don't know if it's something that you follow, but it might want to be something that you follow, considering that this is showing up as more as a chronic thing. You can't really change it, but it will help you know what to expect. So you can see that there are all different things here showing up. So those are all added now to the tray. When I go back to the top, I can hit remove library, and I do like to do that. And it allows me to now see just the items from the system overview page. So, and the blue items are showing up. And this is also showing me that a lot of your top things that are off are many of the meridians. So to me, that's telling me these are all meridians that are showing up as chronically out of balance. So your whole system energetically is out, and for a chronic period of time. These are all different points, but it is a lot showing up in there. So
Well, I was in a serious car accident in 2021 where the vehicle tumbled end over end, and I suffered a brain injury and whiplash and back injury, and I was bruised for a year and a half. So it certainly makes sense that there would be
so
all
hopefully,
those.
we can work with that. So, right now I'm going to add the top 50 and again, the bottom 50. But it might be something that we want to look more closely at if time permits, to look at your meridians and try to get them jump started a little bit. So we have 195 items. I'm just going to again go to Progressive Insights and there. Okay, and we can select all again, and I'm going to move the timer to 1 minute. And we can run this. Okay, so your average percent rectification there is 33%. And then we go from 23 to 44. So I wouldn't rescan these because there's more It's about 20%, but it's a little bit lower. So I'm going to deselect all of them by just clicking on the all until it turns white. And then I'm going to, again, select the lows and the highs and run those for about 30 seconds. Okay, I stopped it a little soon. I'm just going to deselect the highs here and just run the lows for a little bit. Okay, we're at 38%. So, you're right around that 40% mark. And it is within that 20%. So again, that's pretty good. I'm not going to keep working on this because it is a demo and I want to get to some of the other areas for you. But if this was a regular session and I was working with you, I would work on this a little bit more. But let's just go back to the front. I'm just going to clear the main hold tray right now. And I did want to look at what the today's stress is saying here for you. It's showing cardiovascular, degeneration, adrenal, environmental, acid, kidneys, bacterial, all showing up as red, which means they're out of balance right now. We can scroll down and look at what's out of balance for you, more chronically. Emotion, I'm not surprised to see that. Lyme is really very emotionally charged. So whoever you're working with, they may already be doing this, but I would spend some time working on emotions, and lymphatic and inflammation again. Inflammation is going to show up if you're having any of those issues in there. Do you have a fever today?
Yesterday, I felt very, had somewhat of chills. Yeah, it kind of came and went, especially towards the nighttime. And it was starting to, I was coming back to me again when I took the fenbenzidol. I hate to do it. I really don't want it in my body, but I went 3 days without it, and I was stepping right back into the danger zone again. And it's just so. I'm about to go back to Nova Scotia in January, and I've just been trying so hard to figure it out to before I go back. Because I have family support up here, but down there it's a whole lot different, and so it's going to be a trickier. So I would really like to at least get a little more of a leg up on this and get it under more control without the need for the anti-parasitics, the RX ones. I was using a protocol uh, that was being very effective. It's delayed quite a bit right now. I'm still waiting. So it's been almost 2 months since I've been waiting. So I really noticed I was starting to make great strides between the frequency treatments and Yeah, either fenbenzidol or ivermectin,
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna
then the
pause you.
natural.
I don't
Yep,
mean to pause you,
no
because I know
problem.
this is all important information, but I want to get to help you too a little
Thank
bit.
you so
So,
much.
and we only have about 10 minutes, so I'm sorry to
Yes,
interrupt you, but
no
let's
worries.
just I've added things from digestion in here. My gut is that there's going to be a big spiritual protection piece with you. So
Mhm.
I would work on these all the time. I'm going to add um all these in, especially when there's parasites involved. You gonna want to work on spiritual protection all the time, and clearing. So that is one thing I would definitely, whoever you're working with, maybe they're already doing that and that's great, but just keep that up. And we're going to look at your meridians here because there were a bunch of those that were out. I always like to, regardless of what's going on, the governing meridian and the conception vessel, but the conception vessel is already down, showing as blue, which I'm going to add. I'm going to add all the blues and the reds up above, but I'm also going to add in, um, I'm going to add all the points from each of these. I just feel like you need it. Sometimes you can just add the first or last point, but you had a lot out. So I just kind of want to make sure that we're addressing all of these. And now I'm going to do the same thing for the reds. We did work with some of these when we worked initially with the priming vessels. Everything from the biofield is in that. But I, again, with the spiritual protection and the meridians, I just feel like you need a little extra help with them, which is why I'm working through them again. And I want to look at your emotions and work with those as well. I added the red, blue, and green. What I meant to mention before when we were going over the colors and the numbers, I know a lot of you always are curious. Well, we want to work with the reds and the blues. What is the a normal or acceptable number or range? For me, anything between 400 and 600 is sort of like in that okay area. And I work with anything outside of that. So for me, and this is just, you can, if you're just starting out, I would recommend you just work with the reds and the blues and don't complicate things for yourself. But as you get, more comfortable working with the genius, you can expand that a little bit. So for me, mostly the greens are going to be below 400 most of the time. There's going to be that few between, um, uh, right up until, because the greens go from 201 to 450. So there's a small range that would fall into that, okay, 400 to 600. But for timing's sake, I just hit all green. So there'll be a few that aren't in that, are with outside those limits, is what I'm saying. And let's just add your neurotransmitters. And we'll add your reds and your blues of the Bach flower essences. Okay, so we have about 200 items right now. Let's work with these for just 1 minute, and we're going to run the analysis. I do want to work with these too, as well as look at the bioterrain for the parasites. However, with the parasites, we can look at it, but running, working with the parasites, there's a 17-minute kill time, so I can't just run the frequencies here for you for 17 minutes. And but we will look at it just to see what's showing up there. I'm just gonna run select all and hit play. Okay, so this percent rectification is lower. It's at 19%, and there's quite a bit of a range here. It goes from 7% to 35. So I would run this again. So I'm going to move the timer to 30 seconds and see if we could get a little bit more movement with running all of them. It might be that we just need to go right to the lows and not work with as many, but let's see. Okay, great. So with just that extra little boost, there about 20 seconds, you had a percent rectification all the way up to 67%. So that's really amazing. Harmony and alignment and energy flow is really tight too. So that's great. So at this point, since the average percent rectification is so high, I like to sleepiness is just working on probabilities. We don't know specifically what has actually harmonized or rectified. So I like to rescan it and hopefully things have risen to the surface. I'm going to select just the lows and run those for 30 seconds. Oh, they didn't. Okay, again, so you had a 47% rectification and above percent on the top three is within that 20%. So that's really good. I'm happy with that. Just I'm going to still look at go into pain there for you and look at the parasites quickly. If you just wanted to just check in and see how you're feeling. You said your head was about a 5, your left foot was about a 5, and I think
Yeah, and yesterday it was about a 10.
but
Without doing
how are you
yeah,
feeling right now though?
It's
It's
feels
okay if there's no change. I'm just curious if there any shift at all.
it doesn't feel like there's a change yet.
Okay, that's okay. I'm going to clear the main hold tray. I am going to add in your thyroid because you had mentioned that the thyroid. And I'm going to go now into the custom libraries. and pain. And I'm going to add the reds, blues, and greens. And so the parasites are showing really low down here, both different panels.
Very nice.
So that is consistent to what you're saying.
Warfare. Oh. No, leave
Wait,
me alone, military. Back off.
what are you looking at? Oh, this one, the bio warfare.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I
wanted to
don't
add.
want to be a targeted individual.
I think we're all targeted at some level.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work with just the blues here.
So all those red lines, long red lines of the parasites. So that's
The
saying
red
that.
is current, present,
Okay.
which is why I just selected the blues.
Okay.
But again, we can run these, but it will be interesting. It is, they have a 17-minute kill time. So we're not killing them, right?
Yes.
We're not
Yes.
really gonna, it might halt them, or it could, we'll see what happens. So let me just go to the progressive insight. Tammy, I see you have a question. I'm gonna get to it in just a second. You're back okay?
Good. And I will have my daughter adjust me. She's a chiropractor, so
Oh,
she
great.
just graduated this year and she's just kicked off her career. So she's off.
Okay, good. Sorry, I'm just gonna run these, and I don't know if you could, if I can hear you while they're running. Okay, so your average percent rectification is 44%. That's great. And you're right in with that 20%. So that's awesome. I'm going to reset. And just work with the lows for 30 seconds. Is your foot feeling the same?
Pretty much, yeah. But my head's definitely it feels somewhat improved for sure.
Oh, good. Okay, great. So again, you're at 44%. It goes from 32 to 59, so slightly outside that 20% range, but that is good. I'm going to go back. We are have gone over a little bit. I do want to go back and look at your aura quickly and see how that is doing. Okay, so we do see a shift. So this brown in the center and the gray, this is more like your health a little bit. So, I mean, we're working on it. We're stirring things up. Again, you're going to need to continue to work on the parasites in there. I don't know how long they're running those frequencies for you, but it needs to be in cycles of 17 minutes. So,
Okay.
and I would suspect that you have like a lot of generations of them since you've had it for a long period of time. So you're gonna need a couple of, different rounds on that. Um, but you are seeing this green is coming in. That is good healing. We like to see, it getting closer to one color, even though there's like a haze over this. So there's going to be interference and some negative energies. And again, even with this gray, I continue to work with that spiritual protection or any panels that you might have that may deal with little darker energies, because that's
Mhm,
always going to be involved with parasites. So, and just keep working on that. Working on your biofield again is going to be
mhm.
really important for you. So I hope that helped you. I know we don't live,
Every little bit like this, I so much appreciate it, Denise. Thank you.
so you're welcome, and I'm glad your head is feeling a little bit clearer. What was there was the third thing? It was your head, your foot, and was it emotional?
Well, my
Um,
brain injury, yeah, my head, hypothyroidism, the
yeah, no, there
Lyme,
was something else we put a score to. I can't remember right now, but at
low
least
grade infection, low
oh,
grade.
right. Well, um, I don't know if you can feel if you still have an infection, but that's coming mostly at night, the infection. The fevers. I mean, the fever is kind of good in a way. That's your body working hard to kill it. So, I mean, it's not really a bad thing that you have a fever as long as it's not like, making you feel like a wet noodle.
Yes, well, I intend to nail this sucker. I'm gonna kick it out the door, come hell or high water.
So
So
yeah, you're just gonna need to get some persistence and, also diet. You're gonna want to not eat things that they like to eat. So
I know, but that's the kicker of this is that I've had the best again, my daughter being highly educated in nutrition and myself has been my personal passion for so long. I swear to God, I think I'm a feast for them. I've been under that category for a very long time. So I think they're robbing me of my nutrients and
right,
sucking me dry.
they are robbing you of your nutrients, but what are you eating? Like, you want to
Good.
like not even have sugars and things like that, even for
No, not even
right.
having that. No, it's like I've just been so like gluten-free, wheat-free, dairy. Okay, a little bit of dairy with my coffee, and I know I'm supposed to knock that out. I've even dropped my coffee consumption and various things that and the supplements, been to the naturopath, do this, do that. I've been tweaking, and it seems like I'm giving them a good feast now, and they're liking it very much. So that's what it feels like to me. Like
Yeah,
I'm just stepping up the game.
you're gonna have to starve them somewhat. I know it's easier said than done, but you could always look up to one of my favorites is Dr. Barbara O'Neill.
Mhm.
And she does talk about some of this, and she even says if you have to sometimes, if you're cutting out your sugars and cutting out your carbs, but you're eating a lot of fruits, they're still going to get the sugars from fruit. So even though fruits are good and they're healthy, while you're trying to kick this, maybe for a short period of time, I think she recommends, I mean, always check with your doctor.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
she, even says like, even if you need to cut it out for 6 weeks, just to like, just cut off their food supply. So
Yes,
anyway,
absolutely.
I
Thank you
hope
so
that
much.
was helpful.
I'm very, very, all of it is good. I just want to fix it, and I appreciate your focus on it. I really do.
So
Mhm.
you're welcome. And I hope you are feeling better, get better. Please keep us posted. Let us know how you're doing, and enjoy the holidays. Everybody enjoy the holidays. We're back. Are we back before Christmas? No. No. So after, well, for those who are celebrating Christmas and the holidays, anybody who's celebrating Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. And everybody have a happy and healthy and blessed season with your families. And we will be back on the 28th. I think that's the Thursday, right, Claire? I think
Yes,
so.
to check.
So happy holidays, everybody. Thank you again. It's always a pleasure coming here every week and working with everybody. And Rosalie, I really appreciate you volunteering. So thank you.
Thank you
And
again,
anybody
Denise.
who wants to volunteer next week, you can email me at denise@insidehealthapps.com and let me know. And that would be great. Anyway, goodbye for now. We will see you all in a week.